something. So we're going to make a straight horizontal line, and then we're going to get lower with another one, and lower with another one, lower with another one, causing it to go down like that, okay? Doesn't all need to be exactly the same. And then we're going to switch to our blue color, go back up into our sky. Is it working? Hey, it's working up there. You guys. So we're going to take our blue. You can use the ultramarine blue or the phthalo blue or the Prussian blue. It doesn't really matter, honestly. We're going to put it underneath our green stripe, launch in a bit of blue. You want it heavily enough to where you can see that blue color, okay? But you don't want it overly heavily, taking, too much paint up there. We always have to be worried about having too much. Let's get that blue. Go over and down and over and down, wherever you want your waterfall to careen over your river's edge. And then, actually, let's take a little bit of that blue as well. Put it along the sides, kind of filling up some blank area of our canvas. This is why we put down, this is what are called undercolors, and people ask me how to do these things all the time. Because when we show the videos, they're already done, and we just light up the sky, right? Which is exactly what we're going to do. But we have to have these darker colors wet on the canvas, ready to rock, and then we're going to activate them with our white paint, okay? So if we are allowing them to be too heavy on the canvas, our white paint will never have a chance of turning white. It'll just be a really dark version of that color, okay? So don't use too much, but again, don't use too little, because if you're not using enough, then your colors won't be very vibrant at all, okay? We'll go back into our purple color, down around here, wherever we don't have any color on the canvas, let's cover it with our purple, especially down around the bottom, dragging in from the edges, pulling it, letting it mix in with some of that, and let's go one little bit right over the edge, pull it down, right? So it's not all the exact same inside of our waterfall. Now, we can't do anything with a brush that's got this much paint on it, so let's go wash this brush off. You guys check in. Let me know how you like the new setup. What do you think of the video quality? I know I was watching over on the books over there. It has automatic translations or captions, and so you get those automatic captions over there, so you can watch that. That might actually be only after the show's over, but really cool to watch over there. Watching over on YouTube. What do you guys think of the show? Everybody on TikTok, let me know where you're watching from out there. What do you guys think of the new sound? The new everything, as I'm going to switch brushes over to a big old fat nasty fan brush, right? This is one of the GAC Doctor fan brushes. We have them in our Zon affiliate, and that's, oh, it's over there. You can find it, and they'll tell you how to find it. All right, we're going to get our titanium white, and since we laid all of our colors down this way, we're going to crisscross all of them, so we'll have multicolored Aurora Borealises out there, okay? Let's start with the bottom one first. And why don't we come in here, dropping on, or in fact, actually Sam did this in one of our classes, or maybe it was Molly, but she dropped on the whole paintbrush accidentally. I was like, oh no, because I had done it just very thin, right? And she had dropped the whole brush on there. But if you're doing it that way, it's going to allow you a lot more paint to be able to drag upwards, right? Now remember, we don't need the color to go all the way to the top. We are going to match this angle right here with our brush. So we're not going to be half over and half onto it. We're going to match the angle, and then we're going to push it straight up with a lot of pressure, right? Matching the angle, matching the angle. That's how you can keep your brush from coming in and having a little spillover, right? Now, the more I push on this paint, the farther it will drag up. The more paint that is there, right, the more will drag up into the night. So it's up to us how much we're laying down. Then you can see that blue, the green, the purple, the bluish color in there. It's going to look really, really, really neat, you guys. Now, was it our Meaden Advent calendar? The Meaden Advent calendar, you guys. Should we grab London? I think it's back behind you if you want to grab that guy. And we'll open up day 6 of the Meaden Advent calendar. I know more than 15 of you guys went out and grabbed this calendar because I was promoting it, said it was awesome. And all you guys that went out and grabbed your Meaden calendar, let's grab this guy right here. We're going to open it up, and today is day 6. Oh, that would make it more, but it's not as fancy looking. So day 6, we're looking at, what do we got over here? let's see, acrylic magic markers. That's cool. I'm telling you, this kit is the perfect thing for somebody, just a budding artist that doesn't know what medium they want to use. They want to try out a whole bunch of stuff. That's a really cool kit, you guys, seriously. Now we're going to go back into our titanium white over here. Getting a, sorry? Seriously, we're going to get a little bit more of our liquid, titanium white only on here. We're going to drag it down through the tip top, leave some gaps, some darkness, right? It doesn't have to be this perfectly straight thing. And remember, we're going to come up and cover it with our mountain section, so it doesn't have to literally be perfect. If you don't like certain things, you can make them disappear. Now, let's add a little bit of our color again along the top edge just by pushing in the fan brush flat against the canvas like that. We'll get back over here to our big old 2-inch, dab it off on our paper towel because you don't want all that darkness tainting all this brightness. Match the angle again, right? Push it up. We're controlling how far it's going up by how much paint that we put up there, how much we're pushing on it with our pressure, and how many times we're doing that, right? You have to drag that paint upwards. You don't want it to just be sat there, right? But you get these really cool changes, all these little different things in there. Yeah. Let's get a little bit of our titanium white again. And now it's all of a sudden we had one angle coming down this way. One was a little bit flatter. So let's get crazy sharp with this guy. Down and through the other little friend. Maybe he went off the edge over here. Literally, they are not a perfect thing. They're not just a standard old every time same shape sort of thing, right? They are a wild bit of magnetic energy in a spike and an arc that's coming down and smacking against our horizon, or our atmosphere, right? So they're never going to be perfect. Take that guy, drag it up, drag it up, drag it up. How many do you want to put in your little scene? Totally up to you. How bright, that is determined by how much paint that you put up there, right? You're controlling, guys. Seriously. You're in control of everything we do. Excuse me, I can't even barely see over here either. Let's cut down one more, a little sharper. There. Just a bit of brightness right into, as it's getting darker, you snap your new bit of bright right there, guys. And on these vertical ones, they don't need to be crazy. They just need to be bright. Come in here, drag it up, drag it up, drag it up, drag it up. And the more that you do and the crazier that it is, the cooler your sky's going to be. All we're looking for is a little bit of color out there, guys, so we can contrast our big old dark mountain right off of that thing, okay? So we're going to pull down our black, our crimson, and our blue paint. This is the ultramarine blue from Meaden. This crimson is actually Master's Touch. We got Bob Ross black, titanium white from Bob Ross as well. This is Winsor & Newton's Raw Sienna. Both of these, actually, this is Bob Ross Van Dyke Brown, and then we have Dark Sienna, Bob Ross Dark Sienna. Then we have Van Dyke Brown from the Winsor & Newton set. Gamblin Dioxazine Purple, Bob Ross Phthalo Green. This is the Meaden Crimson, and then we have our Gamblin Indian Yellow too, right? Just proving we don't ever just use one brand when we're going through. So let's take our crimson, our black, and our blue, and let's mix them up. Now, it's going to be a very, very dark color. And if you don't have enough brightness behind your mountain, it's just not going to stand out as being very crisp, right? Because our mountain is going to need something to bounce off of. And if we don't give it something to bounce off of, like all this light out here, you might not see it with this crazy dark color on our crazy dark canvas, okay? So let's get out here. We're going to take all that dark, big old chunk of it, more than you normally would, right? The more paint we have right here, the further it's going to go. And let's just say we started over here, getting rid of some of that little thing popping up a little crazier, and I'm almost out of all that paint. So let's go get underneath and scoop it up. Get it right up onto the front of the blade again. Turn it vertically almost like that. Start creeping up again, up into the light, right? Now, I never like to make it just this crazy old, just peaky. And don't get me wrong, I used to. All my mountains back in the day, very sharp little mountains. But the more that I've looked at different mountains and things, they don't have a pyramidal top, you know what I mean? They're very, almost flat, some of them up there. So let's get down and drop it down again. Maybe we got another, you know what, right there. Let's get another little projection up into that light. Right there, bang. Just going to help add distance by pushing it off into the distance. Now, everywhere else underneath, we're going to be scraping and then removing. Listen to the difference. Right? One is loud, one is silent. As we're being silent, we're dumping on all that paint onto the canvas. And if you can hear the blade like that, then we're removing the paint from the canvas, okay? Get up here with our big old 2-inch brush. And if you have enough brightness behind your mountain, you might start to see some details and stuff. Again, we're going to get right along the edge, just like we did with our lights, except now we're going to push it and turn it and move it, right? Let's change this because I don't like that little bump right there. One more time, boom. See how we got rid of that whole little bump just by pushing on it enough. Okay, I'm going to change my direction a little bit. A more steep and then flatten out. Same thing here, a little bit more steep and then flatten out. You have to turn the brush, you guys. It's not going to turn on its own. You have to do that. Okay, we're going to come over here. We're going to pull it off. A little bounce up, pull it out to the side. Sure, guys. Now, when I come up to grab it, I'm only coming up as far as the edge of that brush drag right there, right? I don't want to come up and grip it up here on the corner and then pull across. That's going to cancel out. Remember fractions or decibels? Yes, it was decibels, exactly. The decibels out there would cancel each other out if they were too loud. No, I know it's decimal. Shut your face. Okay, let's get over here. And now that we've got our mountain kind of pulled out, it's telling us, okay, we can either get shadow on this side, light on that side, or light on this side. You guys let me know where we should go. Maybe London can read it out as we go. Should we go left or right? You tell me, okay? And we're talking about which side we're going to catch light on. Do we want to catch the white light or the white snow on our right side? Or should we go left side? Yeah! Guys, let us know in the comments below. Let's see, let's see. All right, you know, I love how Bailey texts like 4 times, one right after another. Okay, perfect. Right? Thank you for the hand hearts. Right. It's always split right down the middle, you know what I mean? Nobody ever knows what, okay, you did the switch thing, cool. Flip the switch. Nobody ever knows which way we should go. So let's make up a little bit of color and then we can decide, okay? I need a little bit of my white. And in fact, for my shadow color this time, let's go purple, okay? We don't want to have too much purple or our white will get just swallowed up, right? We don't want it to be too bright either. So it's a little mix right there. You're just flattening out the pile of paint. Remember, this paint is like icing. It's like frosting. It's very thick, right? That way, we're flattening out, and then we're scooping it up, turning it over again, flattening it out, right? Point of the blade this way, we're flat, 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 and we turn it, and we scoop, 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 flatten it back out. Okay, once you have your little shadowy color made, we're going to come over here and grab a little bit of our titanium white, and I'm talking about turn it on the corner and get one little corner's worth, right there, there is some there, of our phthalo green, okay? Because I want it to be white there with just a little hint of tealy, purpley snow. You guys, that's going to be gorgeous. And that was just one little teeny tiny corner's worth of the blade, and it overtook our white paint by that much, right? So let's brighten it up again, a little bit more white. I want it very pale, paler than mint chip ice cream, which is one of my favorites. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Very pale green, though. No, I like my mint chip to be very pale. Okay, we're going to come over here into our shadows first. Let's pull a little bit down of our purple. We're going to then angle the blade back up, scrape up the paint so we have this roll right out here on the edge. Now, depending on the size of your roll, you need to hover that far away from the canvas. So make sure your fingers, right? Make sure you can actually touch the handle onto your canvas without your fingers getting wet. That's how far back. You got to hold your fingers back there, right? So that way we can hover very closely. We've been doing, no, let's go this way. We'll go, no. Yes, no. Okay, we'll go this way. Very closely to the canvas without touching it, right? If we touch it, then we're going to smush the paint. If we're just hovering over it, then we're going to deposit the paint differently, right? As we get up here, some of it will drop off heavy. Then you can go over that area again once or twice. Pick up a little bit, go to an area that doesn't have any and drop it off. Very, very vertical to the canvas because my canvas is vertical. If your canvas sits on this angle where you're like that, then your blade also has to be at that angle. If you're flat on the table, you also have to be flat with your blade, okay? If you get way down here, don't turn this, get down like that so you're the same as you were up here, right? We're doing aerobics with Josh here up. Now, let's grab that roll. We're not touching the blade. We're not pushing it, right? You can even do it just like this. What's that college that does it? Isn't that the Longhorns, the Texas Longhorns like that, right? Slide it down. I'm in Oregon, so saying that here, ooh, that's like a federal offense almost. Can't cheer for another team, but I'm not cheering for them. I'm just saying they do this, right? Showing that you don't have to hold the blade very roughly. You don't have to push very hard. All you have to do is just graze across the paint, okay? Grazing, very light, very light, very light, with a very small amount. That's a whole key too, right? Having a small amount of paint up here is going to make it come off a little bit easier. It's not going to go as far. That's going to be our problem, is having a smaller amount it just doesn't stretch as far. I don't know what to tell you about it. We're going to get a little bit of that little purpley thing right back in between our little guy, pulling off the other direction, sliding it back. And then we're going to go into our mint chip, very pale green ice cream color, okay? Which is the same color as our highlights in our sky, which is what's going to make it just so gorgeous. Now, remember, we have a big old roll up there, so let's get right up on the edge, float it, very soft, okay? Soft, soft. You have to turn this as well in your hand, right? Going like this. Not like the, don't jiggle it like that, but it's not just going to drop it off on its own. You've got to get down there and then turn it. You see how the handle moves? Goes from behind my hand to then showing. That's up to us, right? We're in control of how much we cover, especially on a black canvas. And you don't need to cover everything, right? We're not trying to cover up every piece of this entire thing right here. And we can even extend that bit of shadow down. Have it look like a little ledge, like it's stacked up on top of itself. Come out here, right? Attach, and then just let it fall off, rolling down very, very lightly. It's picked. Sorry? Over here? Hey, so guys, if you want to grab this one, London is this way. It's either here on the Talks or over there on the tubes and books. If you want to grab this painting, that's what it looks like over there. It's a big old yellowy green, highlight, crazy looking thing that will catch your eye as the very first thing that you see when you get there, right? And then you got to come back and tell us what you want to name your painting, because if you grab it during the live show, you get to title it. That's one of the most fun parts, right? Now, what kind of mountain do you want to have? Do you want to have one that's just extra 3D? And perhaps, do we have enough paint left to make our zigzag glacier coming off of this guy, right? Pulling the opposite direction, even lighter, because we're going over that heavier paint. And if we over mix it and push too hard, it's going to mix away forever. I wonder why Josh left that open gap over there. Oh, it's to catch light. That's why. I see his thought processes now. Let's start getting it over there, right? You're in control, not urine, but you're in control of what's happening out there. Where is your little ridge and what does it look like? Oh, says Santa Claus. That is fantastic. In the day. Oh my God, I'm loving it. I'm running out of my highlight paint. Let's feed that guy in there. And again, all this stuff at the bottom makes no difference. You could literally go like this, because it makes no difference what happens down there. We're going to get rid of all that stuff. But look at how you can have a 3D looking mountain with two sides, or one now with 1, 2, 3, 4 and a bit, right? Almost 5 sides over there that you can see just by adding some light in the right area. It's very, very cool. Why don't we take the teeniest, tiniest touch of our pure titanium white up here and just throw on a couple little just pure white highlights. They don't have to be everywhere. I just want to see if I was really looking to find a difference. I just want to be able to see it in there, right? If you get over into your shadows, just go back over them take them away, if I want to change the angle of those shadows and rock it back in, I've got to turn it, right? I have to do that. It's not going to do it on its own. That's me. I get to decide how much they interact, how far the shadows go, guys. It's literally so much fun. Just get out here and start making a mess, right? We really want a nice textury mountain. That's why we use oil paints, for all the textury goodness. Now look at that. Isn't that the coolest thing you've ever seen? Now we're going to take our big old chew inch brush, we're going to chew on the chew inch brush and dab it off on our paper towel nice and good. Remember, if you grab this one during the live show, you become the hero of the show. We get to have a light party. We get to spin the spinny winny wheel, all because you grabbed it during the show. And then guess what? You get to come back and title it. So we've shown you what it looks like. You know where to go to get it. It's very common sense. Like if I wanted to go to TikTok.com, I would type that into my thing. If I wanted to go to Paint with Josh, fill in the blank, then I would know where. I mean, it just seems like it's a very easy place to find, for me anyway. I don't know about you guys, but for me. Now we're very lightly dragging in the opposite way that we came down, so up into our purple bit. Ooh, just the tiniest, teensiest drags of our paint, and that's just to soften the base. We're not trying to take away anything. We're not trying to get rid of any details. We're not trying to brush it. We're just trying to take and soften that texture a little bit. And then we get up here into our heavy smashing on the canvas, literally with the back corner back here. I'm not touching it anywhere else. It's sort of angled away, and tapping it down. And then if we go over here and we pick up a little bit of white paint and tap it down, a little bit of white paint and tap it down, a little bit of white paint and tap it down. We're making new bits of mountain, okay? Over here, again, same thing. Tap it, get a little flatter, a little flatter. We're making new mountainous details. We just can't see them, right? We know the mountain isn't just floating up there, and it's got to have a little bit of land and such underneath it. And so we're literally just tapping at it, making it a little softer for our next layer, okay? Now when you come in here and you mix up this next layer, and it's nice and soft, it's going to be easier to attach our heavier trees and our background forest, and all that is going to be much easier to attach if you can soften the base of your mountain. Now it looks like it's floating out there. Yeah! Now we can also decide, is it too dark still? Should we add a little bit of a cloud in there, dude? It's up to us. All we're doing, popping in a little bit of our white paint at the base, knowing that it's going to extend down and it's going to extend up, depending on where I brush it. So I can brush it this way, and using that back corner, you can see the bristles back there in the shadows, right? I can push it up that way towards the mountain, or I can push it down this way, turning the brush vertical now, so I can use those top bristles to grab it this way and mix it up and make that misty fogginess. And yes, you gotta let us know. Do you like the new setup? Do you know how much work London has put in? And Yvonne, but London more. She's here right now. That's why we're just hoping that Yvonne's not watching right now. Do you know how much work they have put into making all these changes and this new equipment and learning how it works, just so that you guys can have a cool show to watch? So everybody out there, just say thank you, London. Thank you, Yvonne. You guys are awesome. Sorry? Oh, yeah, right? And you can check out London and support her, and she has her own candle business, right? And it's Glitter Wicks. Fill in the blank like you do on every other place, right? TikTok.com. Glitter Wicks, and then you fill in the blank, right? And you can get the most amazing candles you've ever smelled. Morning Walk is my favorite. Go find that one. We're going to come over here. We're going to take our black paint. We're going to tap in a little line straight down, right? Just a little tap. We didn't drag it, didn't do anything. We just kind of bounced in and then went down and bounced in and bounced in and bounced in each time, okay? Now, here's what it's going to look like if you're not bouncing hard enough or filling it in enough, right? It's not going to look like the trees that we want. We want a lot of heavy, dark paint up there. And then at the base, we want to tap it in enough that we fill in all those gaps. What's up? Oh no, Yvonne caught us red hand. I mean, just we got to take her out, London. No, thank you, Yvonne, seriously. Devon and London, seriously, I put in so many stress-filled hours trying to make it perfect so that when we turned everything on, you'd be able to hear me clearly. You'd be able to see even more clearly because now we have this super camera that my mom, thank you, Mom, if you're watching out there. Mom invested in this amazing camera for us, grabbed this cool thing, and we're just so overjoyed with how it's coming out, just really. I love how the new streams look over on the tubes, on the book. Everything looks amazing, right? Oh yeah, Instagram people are more funny than TikTok people? That's like, I don't know, them's might be fighting words over there. So, I mean, you guys over on TikTok, you got to come up with funnier one-liners, I guess. I don't know what they're saying over on Instagram, but London's silently laughing in the back over here. Okay, I need to mix up a little bit more of my my plaque mix, the Paint with Josh plaque mix, which again is just our blue, crimson, and black all mixed into one. And we'll get down here and we're gonna drop down and then go up and drop down and then go up a little higher and then down, not so much, up a little higher, not so much, up a little higher. You see what I mean? All these things, the more that we put them in there, the more they're going to push back that mountainous region, especially if we can fill in the base, right? You want to have the foggy bits and the broken bits along the top, and then we want to fill in the base. Now, if you're using an oil painting fan brush, right? Big old hog hair bristle brush, nice and firm, right? That is, it may not, right? I don't want to talk out of school here, but it might not give you the sharpest of tip tops of your trees. So if you're ever wondering, like, why are Josh's tip tops of his trees much sharper? It's because I'm using the Paint with Josh brush, and it is more of an acrylic fan brush, right? Much softer, much more for our fine details like these little tip tops of our trees, right? So whenever you've got your tree tops looking good, and as you can see, we stayed away from that heavy snow area except for right here. And it was like one touch, and that was it. Don't mess with it, right? Right there as well. But we stayed away from that snow, so we didn't have all of this dark paint turn into this bright gray color. That would not have stood out very well at all. So, yes, let me know where you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwich? And as we come in here with our 2-inch brush, starting at the bottom, just like we did here, just not as hard, right? Those ones we had to really push hard. These ones are just kind of dragging upwards and then pulling back when we get to the top. And therefore, our brush doesn't go up into the snowy paint, which sometimes it does. It gets up there and touches that snowy paint and leaves a little bit of this white residue down around the bottom of our trees, right? Totally fine, totally fine, totally fine. Don't worry about it. Now, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to get, again, a little bit of paint onto that fan brush that we had, just a teeny tiny, like just wiping it through the very thin area. Small amount, okay? We're gonna come in here, up into the trees, down, up into the trees, down, maybe up there, maybe we go down, maybe we go up and up over here. So it's not just a straight line across. Please, don't make it a straight line across. Let's leave ourselves about 1 inch, which is about your 2 fingers worth of paint to grab with our bigger brush. If we just put a little teeny tiny line up there, it might disappear by the time you get done mixing it with all this darkness. So we're grabbing a little bit of our darker paint from up there, working it down into the light, or light up into the dark, and then down and up, and never staying in one place for too long, knowing that if we do that, we're going to mix everything too much. It's all going to be exactly alike, or we're just going to have this one muted color, which is not what we want to have. We want to have all these little different things out there. And then you get this little foggy bit at the base of your forest. You can also knock it down like this, right? Bob used to do. Helps it a little, be a little bit more mixed, because every time you bounce that the brush into the canvas, it's extending its little fingers and massaging all the paint into the canvas, right? Now, over here, I don't want all that mist to come down. So we're just going to twist it up. Over here, we can come down a little bit further, mix it up a little bit more until it is however you feel like it should be, okay? Now, here's one way of doing things, which I find is a little bit more difficult than the way that I'm going to show you next. I'm going to grab a little bit of my titanium white paint. Let's say, okay, I want to have a hill way out there. Come down, but I need to stop by the time I get to my river. Where's my river? It's in that green area of paint. So you can see my brush came down here and lit up green. That means I wasn't able to stop in time. because I can't see the thing, right? Can't see it. How am I supposed to stop in time? We turned our brush. Now we got this little snowy little bank out here. And what we're going to do next, you can do one of a couple different ways. Remember, we don't see a lot of our river or background trees or whatever behind this right-hand section. So we can do this one of a couple ways. We can get a little bit of our titanium white. We can get back here and we can start scraping and scraping, just like we would on a seascape, right? Or get out here and mix it up or whatever. Just have it be different, right? A little flat with some broken stuff in between. Blah, 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 right? That would be our little rivery, watery section. And then if you wanted to, seriously, with all that stuff back there, pull it down. If you brighten it up a lot by having a lot of paint and dragging it a lot, then it's going to look real bright. If we take it and we spread it out, then it's going to look a lot softer back there, like it's not running so quickly, right? Not running so fast down away from the canvas. Pulling down on those little lines, making them softer, right? Knowing that we're not going to see the whole bit of everything, so don't even worry about everything, okay? Once it's bright a little, or brightened a little, let's get back up into our snow real quick, because now we can see where our water is, okay? So along the edge of my water and my snow, I'm going to take that palette tool, push real hard with that titanium white, getting lower and lower and lower. So we started at a higher point, worked ourselves down to a lower point, and then I can grab that big old 2-inch brush, grab it right from the edge and slide it back so I can have this crisp edge versus a non-crisp edge. What do you want to have in your scene, right? I like there to be this nice little crisp little line out there on the front, and then I can decide from the front how bright I want to make it by adding my titanium white paint, right? I can go, you know what, let's make it brighter. And we still have this little crisp edge up here at the front because our palette knife is kind of sealing everything back into the night. It's a great little tool, that palette tool, amazing. See how bright that is? And then we got our nice little crisp edge, right? That little darkness right over all of our water. And then we can come up here and we need to leave that little dark separation, right? And we don't want to have a whole lot of stuff, so be strange, be weird, make it odd, boom, 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 boom. You can always go back over it and take out little things that we didn't like, right? Just like that. Make them horizontal, though. Don't make anything too crazy. Don't try to go vertical or diagonal or whatever. Just horizontal bits, lower and lower and lower, okay? Now, we're going to wash off our fan brush because it's got a whole lot of dark paint on it from mixing in with our Aurora Borealises and our trees and stuff. And this is the big old Gack Doctor fan brush, the big nasty one, right? Not the Paint with Josh one. That one's a little bit too soft to do this next thing we're doing. This is where we want our hog hair bristles. And we're going to overload it, almost scooping the paint up to try to get it to attach on each side, okay? We're going to decide where we want to have our waterfall rolling over. I think it was right here. Then we're going to come over to the side, down, right? You have to guide the water as you're going. Over, down. Turn over the brush, over, down, right? We don't need to have everything be exactly the same. So those bits, right? Do you go over them multiple times? Do you try to get a little bit more white, lay it a little heavier onto your thing? Right? Up to you each time. The more you do go over it, the more you're going to take them away, and we don't want everything to be all exactly alike. Now we're going to wipe off that fan brush on our paper towel. So it still has some paint in it, but it's not super globby anymore, okay? We're going to take these guys, starting lower on the left, sliding them back, getting a little bit taller and taller and taller and taller. You don't even have to grab every one. All it does is basically brighten up that area to make it look like it's getting all tumultuous before it rolls down. And then I can even change my mind and go, you know what? If I came right there and launched over another little bit of water. Right? How wide do I want to make this thing? What's up, Lon? Separated. That's I've never heard a truer statement than that. There. That's okay. That's cool though. Okay, so now we've got our river. It's kind of run down. It's hit a blockage over here that has forced the water over and down. And then we can get in here a little higher up, much less paint on the brush, right? Out there, just make a weird little thing, knowing that it's just our starting point, and climb up into your waterfall versus down. especially if you want to leave any room at the base to do anything, right? We can decide what happens. Little smiley face underneath that guy. You guys, again, check in. Let us know where you're watching from. This one is available for all you bluey, tealy, purpley lovers out there. It's over there and ready for you. Trying to find a new home for it. All you got to do is go find it. Very easy to find as well. I mean, you would think, you know, if I wanted to go to TikTok.com or anywhere on TikTok, I go TikTok.com/whatever, right? Same with our Paint with Josh, except you fill in the blank, Paint with Josh, right? Very easy, very easy. This will be the very first thing you see when you get there. Now, if we wanted to do a little bit, right? Let's say your whole bit of mist extended down too far. That's okay. You don't have to have it looking just like mine. Your waterfall could have gone down further. You don't even have to have any mist in it. And let's figure that part out by the time we get down there. I don't have the bandwidth or what's the thing? Yeah, what's the thing we were talking about? Lowering our bit rate. I don't have the bit rate in order to do that right now. Thank you, London. We appreciate that. We're going to very lightly drag over these guys. There we go. Now remember, nothing off to the side matters because you can cover whatever you don't like if you make a big enough pile of our Paint with Josh plaque mix. So let's get in here. A little bit of our black, little crimson, little blue, and we'll get down on our mix, smushing them all flat, turning the blade over, scooping it up, getting all that big old pile on there. Now I'm going to have to smash it all flat again. Bang, 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 scoop it up again. Boom, 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 flatten it over again, right? As many times as you want. Just try not to do it too many times because you can over mix the paint and the like viscosity, the thickness of the paint will get changed, okay? So now that we've mixed up all that crazy darkness, you guys know me, I love a good couple, a few. What if we did just a little baby old tree back here? Because he might be the one that everybody looks at. I don't want to go directly under my mountain. I don't want to go directly over my waterfall. So let's go right into here. Just a little baby tree. He's just out there. Little old shtick, okay? We're going to come at it from the corner of the brush. Mackie Poo chilling in the comments below. Going from the corner of the brush, just making him real small. Okay, we have to go down a little bit further than we think we need so that we can take it away and slide that shadow back up our little hill, right? Because we know our hill's going up this way. We have to feed our little shadow back. Oh, he's cute, isn't he? He's fabulous. Now let's load. I was talking about Mac. Mac's cute and fabulous. Let's load our brush back up, full of this dark paint, okay? We know we're gonna have a big old bush right here, so I only really need about one tree there, and I can do as many as I want over here. Let's get out along the edge, do a tall one right there. Doesn't have to be taller than your mountain, okay? Pushing a little harder as we get down over here. We're going to be darkening out and blacking out and pushing back a lot of this room, right? By just tapping into the brush or into the canvas with just a corner, right? Corner, corner, corner. The more we go down, the more corner of the brush that we're touching onto the canvas. Smushing it in fact, right? Yeah, absolutely. Guys, we're going to take a quick old commercial breaky poo. So check out what we got for you to watch right now. The what?
Oh, hi there. I didn't realize that we had taken a break. Make sure you check out paintwithjosh.com. Seriously, every day there's always something new to look at. Oh, it looks like we're going to come back. So let's get back to the show.
Whoops. Oh, we're back? Oh, I thought I was waiting for the music to, hey, I mean, we're back. What's happening, everybody? Like we do this all the time. We're gonna get our plaque mix again, wiggling it down onto the brush, okay? We've come down about the size of the Paint with Josh brush, which is like 18 inches for sure. Like, yeah, definitely like.
What's 18 inches?
The Paint with Josh brush. Okay. We're gonna come down and I'm gonna show you guys how to kind of separate these things, right? Or how I do it anyway. Almost kind of making an arc of a branch off one side, an arc of a branch off the other side, like a little smiley face, right? Getting in between and making different sized stuff, right? So that way, not all of our branches are all popping out the same length or width, and then you always got to fill in that center bit, at least to block out, right? You can get out here where you have your little breaks and your little gaps out there showing our distance, but you'd never be able to see through the center of the tree because there's a big old trunk in there, right? So don't get too crazy, get too wild. Don't try to make the bottom too big or extend it out too far. And don't worry about its shape either, right? Because all we're doing out here is dropping on the shadowy base of our mountain. Get right up underneath that snow, come right down, right into almost the edge of the branches. That way they will crisscross by the time we get there, okay? Tapping in our little friend, coming down, popping them out over here. Doesn't even all have to be the same. And I know if I don't like this guy, I can just go back and cover his branches too. I do kind of like that guy though, right there. But we could, if we wanted to, we could go cover him and add another little tree, right? All up to us, guys, seriously. How many different times or different ways can you paint a tree? That's totally up to you, ain't it? Get out there and try. See. Show me how many ways you can do it. Now, we're going to get out here. We're going to pick up all this plaque mix, because once you flatten it out, you look like you're out of paint until you scoop it up, and you got this enormous pile again. Okay, I like to leave it like a Hershey's Kiss out here, just so we can wiggle down on that pile, trying to load as much of this thick, dark paint onto the brush as possible, having it be as goopy as it can possibly be by the time we get finished. What if we get way up here, just the corner, there we go, pushing it down a little harder, 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 boom, right? A little bit of our tree out here, and then we can decide how, like even how big they are as you get down, right? Because not every tree has to be so full at the top, right? There's so many different species and ways that those species grow depending on their climate and their natural habitat out there, right? So they don't all have to be, they don't have to start getting thick fast. You can have a big old tall thin one out there. Up to you every time that you go to paint it. Another chance, paint it a little bit differently. Try something else, make it fill in a little bit more, fill it in a little bit less, right? Totally up to us every time. That's the most fun part about painting, you guys, is just all the differences that we can come up with. We're all using the same colors. We're all using mainly the same brushes, you know what I mean? So it's a stick with some hair on it and some paint on the end, and we can come up with so many different things. That's magical to me. It's literal black magic to me, that we can all use the same things and yet come up with so many wildly different results. That's cool. I don't care who you are. That's cool. So let's get down here, fill out our tree a little bit more, and then we're going to switch to our bush brush. But before we do that, we're going to have to mix up a little bit more of our Paint with Josh plaque mix. So again, we're going to scrape up a bit of our black, bit of our crimson, bit of our blue paint, throw it down over here. And by the time we get done with our shadowy mix and our base colors and stuff, then we're going to highlight all these guys. So stick around for a second. Don't leave. I'm going to show you just how we can make the same highlights for our purple and our, what was it, mint green, mint green ice cream color for our trees, and make them look just as 3D as that mountain is back there. If you don't believe me, stick around for 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes of your time. What are you doing? Like literally, what are you doing with these last 5 minutes right here, right? We're going to switch to, I love how I don't have to yell when I go all the way to the back corner to get my Paint with Josh bush brush. And I used to have to be like, okay, guys, it's okay. You know what I mean? Now we don't have to yell. It's perfect. Now we're going to come in here, get all of that bushy, crazy, gunky paint onto our bushy brush, okay? And then we have to start projecting some distance. We need things to be covered up. We need to cover certain areas and now have little danglers dropping down into that misty bit, right? It's going to project 2 layers of distance. Layer here, and then here where the mist is underneath, and we've got our plants kind of growing down over the top. They don't all have to connect. We're just kind of tapping at them, and then you can decide how far over your waterfall you want to go, because it's going to start to change that dark color into a much brighter color. Let's get in here. Up, up, project distance. Distance. Let them fall, let them dangle over our little waterfall area. Getting close, right? Dripping down. You have to do your mist first before these things even look like they would work. We have to have that mist down there. Otherwise, you don't see any hangy down doers, right? It doesn't have to look exactly the same. across the whole canvas. But if you don't do that mist first, you're almost hurting your own self. Dangle this dude down, knowing that we might have something at the base. We'll figure out what that guy's going to be in just a hot second or two. And in fact, when we take our fan brush, you know what? Literally, if we just run across this way, just back and forth, very horizontally, right? We can start launching in a little thing down there, see what it looks like. Always put the paint out there because we know it's going to extend, right? So even that little bit of paint has filled up this entire area now with a little water or whatever it is. And then we can come back in and project new things in front of that guy. I mean, what else? What else do you want, guys? You know what? Let's do this first. A little bit of my liquid white with my titanium white. It's like a 90-10 mix right here, just like when we're doing our seascapes. Let's come in here, raise that guy up a little bit, leaving a small bit of dark, right, around him. A little bit of water kind of rushing away, and if you ever get a little too much, pull it down very lightly, very light. Remember, we don't need to have this crazy huge water line back there. Little thing in the day. If we wanted to mix it up as well, you know what? I don't want to see that one over there. Let's just mix him up into a bit of mist, a bit of fog, a bit of water. What do you think it looks like? Because it's totally up to us. Every time that we go to do it, you guys, up to us what it looks like. Fabulous. Oh, I love that. Looks like bubbles almost. A little bit of bubblage. So we're going to come back again. A little more. I'm going to leave a little gap here, spread it out, leaving these ones a little bit more detailed. Not going to brush these little guys away, right? And that way, you get all this little difference in action that's happening back there. I'm not going to brush them away, but we're going to soften them a little bit. And then we can even come back in with a big old rock. Actually, what if, just hear me out, what if we came up like that, covered that whole little section with all this darker paint? What's up, Lena? Sorry? I didn't hear what you said. Oh, we thought it was the actual Snoopy. Right, the little doggy. That'd be cool. There we go. A little bit of liquid white underneath our rock that's projecting up underneath. And we can do as many rocks as we wanted to. We could put one over here. Just make sure you cover up some of the light. Leave some of the light. And make your rocks bigger. If you want them to look closer, they have to be bigger along the base, or at least sit a little bit lower to the bottom of the canvas. So one more time, guys, you guys check in. Let us know where you're watching from out there in the day. Where are you guys from? In the night. Yeah, right? All up to us, guys. Seriously. Every time that we do it, another chance to do it a little different. That's the cool part about these, the wet on wet technique. That's the cool part about painting. That's the cool part about being an artist, is we get to come up here and have a lot of fun, mess around a bit, and just, oh, isn't that cool? Okay, now let's go back up. We're going to highlight some of our trees. So we're going to need a smaller brush. I always go for the smaller brush because here's my thought process. Inevitably, we're going to make a mistake, right? We're human beings. We're going to make a mistake. We're not going to, or we're going to put on too much paint, or we're going to touch it with too much pressure, or whatever the mistake is going to be. If we use a smaller brush than the brush that we use to create that big old shape, then our mistake will be smaller, okay? So we get our liquid white and put it into our dioxazine purple, which will change the thickness of the purple to a much thinner consistency of paint, okay? That way that when we get up here and we start tapping on little bits, little things, almost like Christmas lights, going down and around our tree, right? Little bits of our purpley paint are going to try to cover up all of our dark bits, right? And if we have the right mixture of paint, then it's going to fall off very easily. If you're having to smack at the canvas multiple times all over the place, every time we're hitting the canvas and it's just nothing is coming off, then we have the wrong mixture of paint, okay? We need to have the right mix of that liquid white and our color. Now it's about a half and half, but we're just doing it on the brush. You know what I mean? You never know. And who knows, if it doesn't stick when you go to hit the tree and you don't get anything, no action, nothing sticking off of our little tree over there, then your mix needs to be wetter, right? If you're hitting the tree and too much of it is coming off, you're just leaving little globs on there, then your mix needs to be a little heavier in that our titanium or our thicker paints, right, in order for it to stick and not be so globby. There's a fine line in what is going to make, hey, shit, this one just found a new home. Who grabbed this? Come forth in the comments. Tell us where you're watching on first, like which platform you're on, right? But our viscosity, the wetness of the paint is a ginormous deal, right? If it is not wet enough, it won't come off. If it is too wet, then it will glob off, and that's not what you want. You don't want to have that stuff. So very light pressure. Again, just like our clouds, we never stay in the same spot more than a few taps. Because if we do, then we're going to over tap. We're going to, every time, by the way, that we are tapping onto this stuff, it's intermixing in with all that dark paint. So by the time we get done tapping, if you have enough paint on your brush, and I'll show you right here, right, the whole brush became dark. The entire brush became black on the one side because we tapped off all the purple. Every time you drop off your highlight or your shadow, you're picking up that dark paint, even with the correct mix, right? So don't put on too much paint. Do we know who grabbed this one? Who grabbed it? Sorry? I'm so sorry. One more time. Lily Jolie on TikTok. Thank you, London. I appreciate that. Thank you, Lily, for grabbing this painting. Now, we always ask, Lily, before we get sidetracked, is this your first time watching? Have you been watching for a long time? And what made you want to get this one? Right? When you were just like, did you just scroll in? Like last night with, oh, I'm so bad with names. I forgot her name already. But she scrolled in, very first time watching, was like, I need to have this, grab it. Are you like that? Or have you been watching for weeks or years or however long? And you were like, I have to have. I was going to say, shut up. Shut your mouth. Did you guys, I don't know if you guys could hear what London said. I keep telling her she needs to put the other microphone on, but she said, oh, she used to babysit you when you were 5. And I was like, what? What? Like, no way. I don't think I had a babysitter when I was 5, but a little bit older for sure. And I was like, wait, what was the name of that lady? Like it started to go through, and I was like, what was the name of that person? I forget. I think it started with an A, like Amanda or something. I can't remember now. Too long. We'd have to ask Mom. Back over there. I mean, she might not even remember either. Oh, excellent return customer. Thank you, Lily. We appreciate you. How long, just answer my other question, though, how long have you been watching for? Have you been a fan for a month or 2 months or 2 years? Or how long have you been a fan? And we'll know by your answer, because if you say 10 years, I'm going to know you're fibbing. I will know. Look at that little bit of green that we caught just right up there before the rest of it became into the shadow. That's why we got all of half our tree in green over here. Half the bottom side is all in purple, right? That way we can't catch that light beyond there. Should we go and highlight our little guy off in the distance? A year, that's amazing, man. That is legit amazing. Thank you for being here for a year. Thank you for grabbing your second painting. We very much appreciate you. Everybody should be thanking Lily, because thanks to Lily now, we get to do an awesome light party. Oh yeah, it's okay. So we're gonna do a light party here towards the end of the show. We're gonna finish doing our little highlights, and then we'll do our little light party. And Lily, you're gonna have to start coming up with a title for it. So guys in the comments, right, she may need your help in coming up with a title for this painting that she just grabbed. So what would you call this painting right here? What would you, if it was like, you know what, this is the best painting I ever did, I have to come up with a title. What is that title? Let us know in the comments below. Yeah! And just London, I appreciate you so much for how much work you put into the stream. And it looks so good. And I know it looks just that good on all of the platforms. It's like, I don't even want to say how much London has been telling me to do that, for how long she's been saying, we need to get a laptop and we need to get a computer or a camera. We need to do this. We need to do that. and just how long. And I was like, no, we don't have to do it. Dude, you see a total difference in what the streams look like now versus what they used to look like. So thank you, London. It was totally my idea for no, it was London's idea. He's been telling me for so long. And I was like, no, it won't make that big of a difference. And it actually does make an immense difference. Okay. Oh, right.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
right.
viewership's gonna take it.
Yeah, you guys gotta help us with the viewership, because now that we're going through the computer, like TikTok thinks we're a brand new streamer and that we haven't been doing this for like 4 years. So help us out with the comments, with the shares, with all this stuff. Let everybody know that we're back. We're over here. We got new equipment and all that stuff. We're getting our purple. Excuse me. First, we got our liquid white into our dioxazine purple, and then we're going to test our mix. If we touch on and nothing happens, right, then we know our mix is off, and we need to go back and get a little bit more of that liquidy white, or whatever the issue is, right? If it won't stick, we need more liquid white. If it's sticking and it's globbing on there and it's too much, then we need more of our heavy purple color and less of our liquid white, okay? Now, let's see if we can get away with wiping off that brush, dabbing into a little bit of our titanium, our liquid white again, and then straight into the fat part of the pile. Yeah, you gotta get out there and get into the pile, all right? Off the back edge, start dropping little bits down and down and down. Little things, right? Not dragging them, not pulling on them, just tapping at the canvas and letting the paint come off, leaving little space for our highlights as well, right? If you want to catch a little bit of light on that guy, you got to leave some open room. You don't want to overdo everything. Just covering the back half of our little bushes, dangling them down, because who knows where our light is coming from, but it's a nighttime scene, so they're not all going to be so bright, right? We're not going to be catching so much light. Now, I want to ask you guys one more question. Sorry, were you saying something? Silent Night for the... Ooh, that's a good title. That's a good title. Christmas paintings. Well... You know what? We need to do that. Should we do that tomorrow? That's a good idea. That's a good plan. Like normally... right, before December, I should have the Christmas painting out so everybody could paint it, right, and have it time to dry. I know, I'm a butt. Okay, tomorrow we're going to do a Christmas cabin in the snow with a mountain, and we'll just... 2 shows tomorrow and 2 shows tonight. Yeah, so we got 1 more after tonight. I don't know what I was going to do, though. Christmas! We're going to do Christmas, I guess. Okay, we'll do Christmassy. The only reason, like, the only problem is I don't tend to do holiday themed ones so much, because I think you feel like you're going to have to put it away when it's not Christmas time, right? And we almost want to do paintings that you could leave up all year round. Take our liquid white into our phthalo green. Maybe we got a couple little, right? True. We should be like Elf and just do Christmas all year. That's what I normally do with my my wintry paintings. I love painting winter all year long. Seriously, can't stop me from painting winter. Now remember, every time that we touch on to this plaque mix, we're going to be dumping off our bright paint, and we're going to be picking up that dark paint so it doesn't last forever. And get up here, right there, right there. Gorgeous. Down, down, lighter, less contact. Bang, right? Out there catching different bits of different lighting. Boom, 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 boom. They don't even all have to start from the top. That's the funny part too. Not every bit is getting hit from the top. Come over here. Filling in that little empty gap. Let them roll over the side. Fabulous. Yeah, guys, look at that. That is cool, 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 cool. Cool beans. Look at it. Look at it. So we're going to do one little thing around here around the base. And then we'll be all set. So we already got the title, right? We've got a title all picked out. We're going to drop some of our little purpley, rocky highlight onto our little bit down here. We're going to drop some of our green highlight onto the top of it, like it might be catching some light back there. Very cool. And again, you don't want to over cover everything. You don't want to make everything so brightly that you can see it too well, right? And if it is too bright, we can make it darker. We can go back in, scoop up a bit of that darkness, and just run it down until it looks how we want it to look, right? Very cool. Let's, again, take a bit of that darkness, and let's go make just another rock or two right back there. Big old sucker, right? Gonna come down, is going to cut through some of the bright area, which is going to push back that brighter area, sticking the rock in the front of it. And as long as we can make his butt sit down here, right, then we'll have a closer, bigger thing to focus on. And since we just have the teeniest, tiniest amount left, what if we did another little flat little guy right there? Just an old flat little rock, like a stepping stone. It's cool. Cool, 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 cool. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, over there, over here, gonna tap on one more little bit of that brightness. Just not trying to cover up all of my color, right? Off our backside, we've got a bigger, more chunkier rock down here. A little bit heavier in our paint, a little bit lighter on our drags, right? And then we won't overdo and won't over cover up too much of it. There we go. Fabulous. Oh, that's fantastic. Grab a little bit of our liquidy white, titanium white, watery paint. That's too much paint. There we go. Come back in here. We're going to clean up the base. You can cut right through it, too. Cut right through that old rock right there. Drop it on underneath. Mixing some of that color down. Fabulous. Doesn't even all have to be the same. Look at that, guys. That is cool, man. I like it. I like it. I like it. It's wicked. Wicked, wicked, wicked. And remember, we've got all this stuff shadowing this area down here, so it doesn't all have to be the same brightness. Got a couple little bright waves here, little bright wave there. And remember, we're going to be back in about 50 minutes or so, if we can get this one knocked out and done, and then get ready for the next Christmassy show, guys. So we came up with the title already, correct? Which was Silent Night, right? Isn't that it? Yep, Silent Night. So let's spin this guy around real fast. Oh, isn't that a pretty looking painting? Yeah, it's gorgeous. I love it. Right there. Pop them around. Big 22 by 28 inch canvas. Now, the next size canvases that we have available to do in black anyway is a 20 by 24. So that'll be the next size, unless you guys want a smaller 16 by 20 Christmassy painting, which you could let me know. We're probably going to go 20 by 24. We usually do it on a bigger size for the shows, so you can see a lot more detail, stuff like that. Silent Night it is. Boom, ba-boom. Over here, like that. It's supposed to say original. Don't watch me write that bit. Number 2173, and we're calling it Silent Night. We'll put the birds in too, don't worry. 12/6/2026. We're all going to go to Paint with Josh. And then, don't watch me write. I'm telling you, it makes me nervous. But fill in the blank at the end. Paint with Josh. Right there. Fabulous. This one came out absolutely amazing. Literally amazing. Yeah. So, I'm going to finish washing off these brushes real quick. Let's do a quick light party. So, Lennon, can you put up the graphic, or do we need to give a light party warning on TikTok too? Okay. Okay, so everybody watching over on the talk and the grams and just everywhere else, anyone who can hear my voice right now, we're going to be doing a light party, which means we're going to be flashing crazy colored lights at the canvas, and it's going to make it kind of change and move and get weird on us, right? So all we need you to do is, if you are sensitive to that kind of flashing light, please look away from your phone for the next 30 seconds-ish. I'll tell you it's okay to look back when it is, in fact, okay to look back. If you are going to stay for the light party, then please type in the words "I'm ready" into the comments box. Caca! And then stay right there and stay ready to tell me the very first thing that flashes the most for you. All right, what's flashing the most for you when we hit the light party, and when we see enough "I'm ready" is we'll get it going. London? They're ready. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. So let us know what's flashing the most for you. What stands out? Is it the mountain? Is it the birds? Is it the waterfall or the mistiness or the forest? What stands out the most to you? Let us know in the comments now. Tell us now. What are they saying, London? Okay. Oh, London's covering her eyes. Okay, we're going to bring it back down in 3, 2, 1. Amazing. If you were light sensitive, you may now look back at your screens and it'll just be fabulous. The mountain was picking it up. I feel it. It's usually the brightest part of the painting is the one that everyone notices the most, right? That brightest part, either the white part of the northern lights or the snow on the mountain or the brightest part of our waterfall in here, right? Or the misty action at the bottom, which we can take and mix down just a little closer for the final touch. There. Sweet. That's fabulous. Oh, love it. Okay, let's put in the old signature, which I forgot. I did the I did the birds, and then I washed the brush. Let's put it way down here. Way down there, the old JK. Just kidding, this one's still mine. No, I'm just joking. Over there. And thank you to, don't tell me, actually tell me, person who grabbed the paint. Lily, I wanted to say Leah. Keep on to say Leah, but Lily, thank you for grabbing this one during the live show. You helped out. You made it amazing. We got to see the awesome light party, which everybody always loves. So we appreciate you for that. You are fantastic. Now, we're going to come back for another show in about 45 minutes. So go get yourself some refreshments, some popcorn. Oh, goodness. Got an itch on the side of my nose. And come back and let us know what's up. Oh, the spinny, I almost forgot about the spinny winny wheel over here. Okay, let me grab this wheel, try off this last brush. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, no wheel, no wheel. No, I'm just kidding. The wheel doesn't exist. Nobody knows about the wheel. I love how I don't have to even speak louder, being way back here. Way back here. So, just like that, here we go with the spinny winny wheel, which is just a gifting wheel, basically, right? Like you help me make the show better by getting this stuff during the live show, and then I help you by giving you back a free gift if you land on a free gift. So let's see what you're gonna get. Oh, you lose, unfortunately. I'll give you one more spin. Hang on. I think everyone just loves the sound of the wheel. Uh-oh. If you hit, you lose one more time, you actually have to lose, unfortunately. What's up? Ready? Yeah, that's a good one. Hey, you want a Glitterwix candle? How about that? Fantastic. They are the most absolutely stellar Glitterwix candles on the market right now. So I'm gonna get. I'll pick one that and I'll pay for it and I'll ship it out to you as your free gift for helping make the show better. Thank you so much. Absolutely love you for that. Beyond that, we gotta end so we can get ready to do the next one. I gotta come up with a Christmas idea now. What's up? Yeah. Sorry, everybody. We had a mouse disconnection. Didn't I say yesterday that I was like, I guarantee that thing's not gonna last much longer because I haven't plugged it in forever. So you guys are amazing. We're gonna get out of here. We'll go charge the mouse and do everything else. And you've been fantastic. So thank you to Lily for grabbing this one. Remember, if you're not already following me, follow me now so that when you come back in an hour and you're thinking to your head, what was the name of that like really funny, handsome painter guy I was watching? If you don't follow me now, you're going to forget that it was Paint with Josh and you won't know where to come find us for the next show. So it'll be on all platforms as always until I see you guys again next time. You ready, Lynn? Yeah. Take care. Oh, by the way, watch this. Hang on, let me back up. Send me in your version of this painting to me on Facebook at official Paint with Josh. Put the @ symbol official Paint with Josh, all one word. Can't wait to see what you guys can do with it. Now, stick around for like 15 seconds after we black it out for the most coolest outro you've ever seen. So until I see you guys again next time, take care. Rest of a good day. And well, that one came out amazing. I want to thank you guys for being here, liking, subscribing, tapping the screen, commenting, and interacting with me. It's all been fantastic. In the meantime, before we get to our next painting, be sure you check out paintwithjosh.com because there's always something else to look at over there. So until I see you guys again next time, take care.
I see you guys again later. Take care.